Welcome to Rice TVX and the latest transmission of Stranger Than Fiction. Give me a 5x5 and let me know that you can hear me loud and clear. That would be greatly appreciated. On today's episode, we got two things that we are going to be discussing. One of which, and I got to be careful about what I'm talking about because this might be a touchy subject, especially for the YouTube overlords. So, there is a newly leaked document revealed by Project Veritas, and it's about classifying what the FBI, this is an FBI internal use only document, classifying what they believe to be MVEs. Definitely going to be careful about that. When I do a screen share, you're going to understand what they are or what that means. I will also be talking about UNESCO, and their hashtag Think Before Sharing campaign designed to stop the spread of conspiracy theories. Now, before we begin, a few quick messages from the sponsors of Rice TVX, giving everybody time to get situated in today's live stream.
Cryptocurrency, DeFi, NFTs? Sounds confusing? BitLab Academy is here to help. We make it simple. Start investing in crypto, learn trading fundamentals, learn to mint and trade NFTs. Join our community today. Crypto for beginners, taught by the pros.
And you can always find information for the sponsors, BitLab Academy, Monarch Wallet, and Presearch in every video description. As you can see on the screen, this is not a conspiracy theory. This is real life. This is reality, and we are having to deal with it. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you for joining the latest transmission of STF, Stranger Than Fiction. And so we have some interesting things to talk about today. It is a war on truth. And in war, truth is often the first casualty. Now, I'm not exactly 100% sure who said that quote. It's actually kind of attributed to many people. But either way, it's truthful in what it says. Truth is the first casualty. So right now we have FBI leaked documents. I'm going to be going over that Project Veritas unveiled and has some information also back it up so that it's not just considered something that is not legitimate. Because this actually this verbiage of the MVE goes through other government agencies and documents that I'll be sharing with everybody. Make sure you guys smash that like button. I also want to let people know that there are two ways that you can support the channel and look out for yourself. One is my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. You can get a free ½ ounce of silver, and all you got to do is be a first-time buyer, buy a minimum of $100 worth of anything on their website. Use the promo code RICE at checkout. You get a free ½ ounce of silver, and it's a way that you can support the channel. If you are looking to purchase and invest in precious metals, gold and silver are both good safe haven assets to hedge against the financial collapse we are experiencing. Check out Money Metals Exchange. I partnered up with them and you can get a free ½ ounce of silver. Visit moneymetals.com, be a first-time buyer, purchase a minimum of $100, and use the promo code RICE. You get a free ½ ounce of silver, and it's another way to support the channel. All right, the other way that you can support the channel is by my partnership with My Patriot Supply. Visit prepwithrice.com and you can save some money on emergency food, non-perishable food, good for 25 years in discreet delivery means. And you can save $50 on a 30-day supply or $150 on a 90-day supply of emergency food. We know it's coming down the line. I've talked about it in other videos. You're hearing about it in mainstream news. There will be a coming global food shortage, and it's definitely becoming sooner than later. I always encourage people to make sure that you're prepared, not scared. I've partnered up with My Patriot Supply so that you can prepare for these uncertain times. Visit www.prepwithrice.com. I highly recommend My Patriot Supply, America's largest emergency preparedness company. Act quickly and you'll save $150 off their essential 3-month emergency food kit, which contains an abundance of delicious foods that provides more than 2,000 calories a day. This includes free shipping quickly and in unmarked boxes to your doorstep. Visit www.prepwithrice.com as an additional way to support the channel. All right, that should give everybody plenty of time to get in today's live stream. Now, I only scheduled it about 4 hours ago. So if you're watching this on replay, what I want to ask you, or even if those of you who are live, were you notified that this video came out? Did YouTube let you know that I was going to be going live or that I am live? Please let me know in the comments below or in the live stream, because I've been hearing some problems recently where people have not been notified. If that's the situation, if you have the notification bell on and you're not getting notified, I always suggest that you unsubscribe to my channel, resubscribe, and then hit that notification bell again. And I encourage people to do that once every few weeks, once a month, if you remember, because YouTube is not always notifying people when I'm going live, when I'm scheduling a live, when videos come out. So please let me know. And thank you for that 5x5. I do appreciate everybody. Thank you for joining today's live stream. Make sure you guys smash that like button, because it does help other people to be able to find these kind of videos in the YouTube algorithm flow, and to also find Rice TVX, and it would be greatly appreciated. So I'm going to go ahead and get a screen share pulled up here, and I will come to the comments here in just a moment. I want to go ahead and get everything pulled up so I can do a proper share with everybody. Make sure you guys are following me on different platforms other than YouTube. I have all of my videos, 100% of my content over on Odyssey and Library. I've had to remove, either YouTube is removed or I've removed because I felt I was going to have issues with the videos from YouTube due to censorship and to maintain the channel. So 100% of my videos can be found over on Odyssey and Library. Every video I've ever made, Odyssey and Library. And I also encourage people to also follow me over on BitChute. Be greatly appreciated. I am uploading videos regularly there, not 100% of my content, but what I feel will work best for that platform. I have 571 subscribers. We're almost at 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I would love to get the numbers up on BitChute. If you guys use BitChute, please go over to Rice TVX and give me a follow. It would be greatly appreciated. You can also support the channel by joining my Patreon, and you'll get early access to videos, exclusive content. I'm figuring out ways to make the Patreon experience that much better. I have 3 different levels of membership, and with the $20 per month super patron, you'll get a chance to speak with me one-on-one, either via phone or video or something to that effect. So definitely consider supporting the channel. It would be greatly appreciated. Now, I want to go ahead before I begin the video officially and acknowledge all my people in the chat. See what we got going on here. So Dime Bar, appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, who is it good for? Yeah, all wars are bankers' wars, they say. Let's see here. Nicole Pike, I appreciate you tuning in, especially all the way from Australia. I guess it's early in the morning over there, depending on where you are. It's probably between 7 a.m. to noon. And LaBelle 2010, thanks for joining. I appreciate. Johnny Midas, thank you so much for joining. Shannon LeGros, good seeing you in the chat. Mr. X LeCherion, always got to throw up my X for my bro. Will Yum Yum. I am going to make a video about that. I'm still trying to disseminate what happened with yesterday's actions from our FBI. I know roundabout, but I need to do a little bit more research and digging. I've had a lot going on and haven't 100% been able to look into the specifics of the situation. But yeah, Mar-a-Lago got raided. Blood of my blood. Yes. Call me Slacker if you like, my friend. Thank you so much. TD Freelancer got notified. Awesome. Genie Unleashed got notified. String Gene said no notifications, a common problem on many channels. It is. That's why I encourage you to unsubscribe and hit the notification bell. LaBelle 2010 said did not get notified. And it says now that String Jane got a notification. So seems to be very mixed. Cindy Lou Baker, thanks for tuning in. I knew you were kidding. I appreciate. Rob Salazar, thank you for joining so much. KY, Daily Lead Donuts videos. Do you mean on Donuts channel? Let me know. I need to actually give Alex a call. So hopefully we'll get him on a channel here within the next few days to a week. KY, yeah, let me know what's going on. Ice Rivera. I don't know why I couldn't talk and say that. No, if you're saying it to me about being scared, I'm not being scared. I want to let everybody know one thing real quick. Oh, the video about the 3-3. Somebody mentioned to me to check that out. So I'll ask them what happened to that since I deal with this regularly. But if you're referring to handling certain subjects in a delicate manner here on the YouTube, there's a reason for that. So I want to let everybody know, and I don't explain this as often as I probably should, but let me go ahead and take a moment here and say it. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to change up some information on the screen. Okay. So when I started my channel in January of 2018, I started going full-time in May of 2019. In December of 2019, I was dealing with a lot of problems with censorship and shadow banning from YouTube. I woke up on Christmas Eve, got my first videos removed, and was given a warning. It was for 2 or 3 videos. It's been a minute, but it was 2 or 3 videos that were removed, and I was given a warning. Christmas Eve. Woke up Christmas morning and had another video removed and a strike put on my channel. The first time I ever got a strike. So that was December of 2019. Now, since December of 2019, up until the beginning of November of 2021, I had maintained at least 1 strike on my channel, if not 2. If you get 3 strikes within a 90-day period, you lose your channel. It gets terminated. So I've dealt with having strikes on my channel for all of 2020 and the majority of 2021. So just 1 month shy of 2 years. And several times had 2 strikes in a 90-day period and was like this close from having my channel terminated. And this is how I make a living. This is how I pay my bills, support my family. This is what I do. And so those that do support the channel, I greatly appreciate it. It means a great deal because it's not as if I make a great deal of money from YouTube or Patreon. My sponsors help out. That's why you see the ads at the beginning of the videos. The partnerships that I have with My Patriot Supply and Money Metals Exchange help out. But with that being said, I haven't had a strike on my channel since November of 2021, and that strike expired 90 days later, the beginning of February of this year. It's like February 7th. So as of February 7th of 2022, Rice TVX has been free of strikes. I brought on many controversial guests. I've talked about a lot of controversial topics, but I've learned to speak in code and parable, especially in public. And I took that from Jesus, Yeshua. He spoke in parables in public, and in private, he spoke plainly. We are not in private. We are in the public. And I've got to utilize YouTube if I want to reach new people. People say, get off YouTube, go on such and such. Then I will be stuck in an echo chamber. I won't be reaching new people and helping new people. And that's not what this channel is about. So I hope you guys can understand that. Just playing a better game of chess. And Michael says that that's how he lost his channel. And I said to everyone in everyday life, you're still here, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And I wasn't taking offense by what you said necessarily. And yeah, that was definitely a happy Christmas. But now that wasn't an isolated incident. That actually ended up happening to a lot of crypto channels. We ended up dubbing it the crypto YouTube purge. So I've been dealing with the censorship and shadow banning. So now I've just got to play a better game of chess with the YouTube overlords. And that's why you'll understand what I'm talking about with the MVE term. So let's go ahead and get to it. It's been long enough. Now we can get to the meat of the video. I do appreciate you guys tuning in. And again, if you have not smashed that like button, I would greatly appreciate if you do take time to do that. Also, read this information that's scrolling on the screen because you need to be aware of scammers. So this was posted by Jack Probiet. Posobiec. I don't know why. There's certain times like pronouncing certain words end up just giving me tongue twist and I can't get it out. Anyways, Mr. Jack says, and this was on August 2nd. So we're recording this, or this is live on a night. So this is 7 days ago. Breaking via Project Veritas, FBI whistleblower leaks Bureau's DT symbols guide on MVEs, citing Ashley Babbitt. The document references the Second Amendment, the Gadsden flag. The Gadsden flag is the yellow flag with the snake that says, "Don't tread on me." Revolutionary War imagery and the Betsy Ross flags. I have these images where I can pull them up in bigger detail here in just a moment. Actually, what I'll do real quick, take a time to get off this and off this, and I'll pull up an image so everybody can see this a little bit better. Went ahead and put both of them up. Let me go ahead and get rid of my watermark here with Rice TVX so you can see the top corner. So you can take a screenshot here if you're on your phone, take a picture with your phone if you want to look at it. But you can find these on the interwebs. And again, this is supposed to be internal use only FBI leaked documents talking about MVEs. Now in this, you see down towards the bottom, the yellow here, that's the Gadsden flag, the Betsy Ross flag, any imagery that's kind of going back to the founding fathers, Revolutionary War. It's all in this notation, and they're deeming these groups as being DTs. So I don't want to say what DTs are. You can see in the writing, and MVEs. But the MVEs are being designated as DTs. Yeah, I got to make sure I'm getting all that straight. So let me go ahead and get off of this image here so everybody had a chance to look at that, and throw back up another banner. Come back over here. One more thing. I've got to definitely get somebody to help me out with doing these live streams so I'm not doing all this stuff myself on the fly, which makes things somewhat difficult at times. So here's the tweet. Now, there's an article that comes from Zero Hedge, and this came on Wednesday, August 3rd, which is the next day. And I'm going to go ahead and read, and certain parts I will obviously speak in code. The FBI's alliance with the Democratic Party has reached absurd new heights with a newly leaked document revealed by Project Veritas, classifying what the agency believes are MVEs. The unclassified law enforcement sensitive document for the FBI internal use only outlines symbols, images, phrases, events, and individuals that special agents should look for when identifying alleged DTs. DTs. These are your DTs. And they're talking about using verbiage justifying their existence with the Second Amendment due to the mention of a well-regulated militia as well as the right to bear arms. Now, not all these groups are obviously in that position where they're bearing arms, but I feel as if everybody's going to get lumped into one big position here, unfortunately. So this is the reality that we're dealing with. Now, they have the image there. It mentions here that this document lists Ruby Ridge, Waco, and the Oklahoma City bombings as radical and or violent events in the past. Now, I'm not going to disagree with any of that necessarily, but it also notates that the FBI whistleblower leaked a document to Project Veritas. The Bureau's elitist left-wing officials made no attempt to list symbols, images, phrases, events, or individuals of radical left groups, such as Antifa, who flies a red and black flag, the anarchy flag, the anarcho-socialism flag, and or a Black Lives Matters flag during demonstrations, some of which have been extremely violent and burnt down entire city blocks. So you've seen a lot more violent activity associated with the aforementioned groups, but they were not listed in these MVEs. So this is the article that's coming from Zero Hedge. Everything we're talking about today is linked down below in the video description. So make sure you take notation of that so you can read all of this in all of its entirety, because I'm only going to be going over certain aspects, kind of highlighting what's going on so you could be aware and let other people know. If you know people who are YouTubers, people who are on social media that fit this profile, then and they're not aware of this, we need to make people aware, because this is, I think, taking things to an absurd level. And that is my opinion, but hopefully you agree. So this is the Gateway Pundit. The FBI whistleblower leaks Bureau's DT symbols on MVEs to Project Veritas. And so Project Veritas, I'm sure most people are familiar with. They do good journalism, in my opinion, and they come from a very middle line angle, like from no certain agenda. They just try to report truth, and a lot of sensitive information gets shared with them. So this is an unclassified document that says it's for FBI internal use only. Now, some people might say, well, this may not be completely legit. It wasn't officially leaked or released. It was leaked. So I will go over some information. I will share a little bit more about this. But basically, the highlights are: leaked document is labeled as unclassified, law enforcement sensitive, that is for FBI internal use only. Under the symbols category of the document, 2A is listed with the following explanations. MVEs justify their existence with the Second Amendment due to the mention of a well-regulated militia as well as the right to bear arms. Revolutionary War imagery such as the Gadsden flag and the Betsy Ross flag are cited in the document under commonly referenced historical imagery or quotes. So, but they're basically in a position where the Bureau can classify American citizens as potential MVEs and DTs. And that could be utilized against people who are trying to share truthful information, which is why the video is called A War on Truth. The war on truth is stranger than fiction, because it's as if, and this is the ironic thing about this, if you look at the verbiage of what they're calling the MVEs, it's people that have a love for the country, that are taking what the founding fathers left and gave us and utilizing it as we're supposed to, which I would think in real reality, not in this alternate reality that CERN has taken us into, that would be commended. Keeping the American dream, whatever the dream of creating a sovereign nation alive. And I will be doing more videos talking about some of the founding father stuff, about the big argument of federalist versus anti-federalist. But you can see a better picture here of the flags. The anarcho-capitalism flag is listed on here. And Jeff Berwick, the dollar vigilante, he identifies as an anarcho-capitalist. There's a lot of economists that identify as an anarcho-capitalist. Is that going to put them in a position where they could be designated as MVEs and then DTs? Because that really wouldn't end up very good. Ultimately, that would be very bad. Now, I'm not going to share much on this. I am going to share this so people can see that this exists. This is the national strategy for countering domestic teas. Yeah, I almost kind of messed up myself there, because I really feel like those terms that I keep using the initials for are going to be targets with the algo. So I'm just trying to be very careful with that. This was released in June 2021, so a little over a year ago. And obviously, we know it took place in January in our nation's capital on the 6th. So it has a lot to do with that, more so than when I mentioned the BLM or the ants. So there is some information here that I definitely would encourage people to check out. But this comes straight from the White House, and it's their strategy for dealing with the DTs. Now, where I got this MVE thing, to back up a little bit more when it comes to this term being used by our government. So if someone was to say that those FBI leaked documents were not, in fact, FBI, there are other government agencies that are utilizing that terminology. So this is the International Center for Counterterrorism, ICCT. And they say MVEs in the United States, understanding the evolution of the threat. talks about the ideology. Now, I've got to say, most of the people I've got in this category aren't using firearms and trying to take over cities and trying to cause any sort of violent action. And this is my opinion again. But, and I'll come to the comments here in just a moment. Just want to get through this part, and then I want to get through this part. Then I want to go to the comments. Then we're going to talk about the second thing, which is about the UNESCO. So it's talking about members of this particular movement believe that private citizens must be prepared to resist the overreach of Big Brother to combat tyranny and maintain law and order, while many movement members believe that the violence may someday be required. But MVEs believe that it is necessary. Now, I have this saying that I say to everybody, and I try to manifest it in a lot of videos, and I think it's a very important thing to say, is that when enough people take a stand, nothing can stand against the people. And I always have to add, and we can peacefully change the world. Now, unfortunately, peace isn't always the only option, and sometimes other people don't offer that. But I promote peace as much as possible. But at the same time, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. So that's me. Also talking about fear of government overreach, the broader M movement ideology is most often organized around the fear of Big Brother overreach or state collapse. But it is not consistently anti-government. It's inherently maintains a complex relationship with government authority that often clashes with the ideology of the M activist. And also the right to bear arms, which comes from our United States Constitution. The defense of the right to bear arms is a core motivation for the movement. The M members are concerned with infringements on gun rights because they believe that private gun ownership is a critical defense against the tyranny of Big Brother. And that is actually things that were written in the Declaration of Independence and in our United States Constitution and in other documents by our founding fathers. So it's not as if this is made up, but they're attacking and targeting people that would be trying to do what the founding fathers wanted us to do. So it's getting to be a little bit crazy. Before I go on to the next part, I want to go ahead and see what everybody has to say. And again, I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you haven't smashed that like button, I would really encourage you to do so. Let's see here. Okay, I guess you're referring to the donut one. So yeah, if it says private, then that means donut made it private. Yeah, it'll say the video has been removed if it's been removed. So, all right, let me go ahead and go through the comments. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Well, they are hiring 80,000 new agents for that purpose, ICE, and I'll be talking about that with the Inflation Reduction Act in a video, possibly tomorrow, but definitely this week. And LaBelle says that list is going straight to the IRS and the FBI of people, I guess, who don't participate in the taxes, which is something that John McAfee stood for. Trick says the Betsy Ross flag was one of the greatest representations of America. The Mandela effect be damned. Yeah, it really does feel like I woke up on an alternate Earth, and everything that I knew to be reality is no longer reality. It's absolutely insane. So I want to go. I got to read some of these comments a little bit to make sure I'm not saying something. LaBelle says that they can't bust in your door, then they'll seize all your assets as long as people keep paying taxes to the government that sends millions. So there was a raid on an Amish farmer that apparently had a large supply of food. I'm not sure if it had anything to do with hoarding, but there was a executive order, and I It could have been under Trump, but I'm not 100% sure that had to do with hoarding, where military law enforcement could go to houses and inspect homes to make sure people weren't hoarding. So that could be a possibility, especially if we have that food shortage that a lot of people are thinking about. Here is your DT. Yeah, Johnny Rico, I've got one hanging up on my wall right opposite of me in the corner to help with my sound, but I've got that and a Bitcoin flag. I chose not to put my Bitcoin flag up because I'm still decorating the rice cave. But I've got a Don't Tread on Me Gadsden flag too. And if you listen to my message, if the FBI was, and they probably do monitor my channel, they probably monitor everything about me, they would know that my whole overall goal is peace, not to encourage violence. I've even had YouTube put strikes against me on videos saying that my videos encourage violence or rioting, and I don't encourage any such thing at all. And I hope that that message is very clear to everybody. Everybody should know I don't promote violence. Now, again, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. If I need to defend myself, I most definitely will with the most powerful fury I can possibly bring. But I am trying to follow the examples of love that Christ left for me and you. So we need to love one another. We need to love God with all of our heart, and we need to love our brother and our sister as we love ourselves. Treat people how we want to be treated. So that's what I'm trying to do. Let me go ahead real quick here and see a little bit more. Again, as far as the FBI and what happened yesterday in Mar-a-Lago, I will be doing some research on it and possibly a video. So just stay tuned for that. Nothing can stand against the people if the people take a stand. But enough people truly have to take a stand. And that's what I'm hoping to partially achieve and be a part of, is waking up people that will take a stand for the things that they believe in. And I'll be doing a video talking about that very topic of taking a stand for things that we believe in. Because people aren't doing that. We need to. Johnny even says people have to stand. LaBelle, I love how Big Brother is a new official government vocab term. Yeah, well, I think people get what I'm trying to say. Will the FBI raid the Library of Congress? Who knows? Who knows? Okay, I want to go ahead real quick and go back to what I was talking about in the video to finish up, because we are at 34 minutes in. All right, so bear with me 1 second. Trying to get this comment off screen. Okay, cool. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is UNESCO. They have this campaign going on called #ThinkBeforeSharing to stop the spread of conspiracy theories. Now, you may be asking yourself, what the hell is UNESCO or UNESCO or whatever this is? So, again, this is all linked down below. This comes from their very own website. This is a brief. So, UNESCO or UNESCO in brief. But the UNESCO Constitution reads, since wars begin in the minds of men and women, it is in the minds of men and women that the defenses of peace must be constructed. So what is this? It is the United Nations educational, scientific, and cultural organization. It seeks to build peace through international cooperation in education, sciences, and cultures. UNESCO's programs contribute to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals defined in the 2030 Agenda, adopted by the UN General Assembly in 2015. Now, you can go on to read about their history, but the most important thing that I want people to notate, the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization is the United Nations. So they're spending funding, like they're taking money that was given to them, or however the United Nations works with the contributions from the different nations that are a part of the UN, but they're taking this funding and building a campaign about stopping the spread of conspiracy theories as if it is this, like it's a real disease or fake disease or whatever you want to call it. Fact, fake, this is an attack on truth. And most people that are labeled conspiracy theorists, I would call realists. And I definitely don't put myself in a conspiracy theorist category, but I am an open-minded skeptic and I like to cover these type of topics. So because I cover topics like this, because I encourage people to take a stand for things they believe in, because I own a Gadsden flag, I'm now going to be designated as a potential MVE and a DT. That's a lot to think about. And to me, it's absolutely absurd. So these are the things that we need to take a stand and really do something about before it gets too late. We see agendas going on. They're being spelled out. The United Nations, the World Economic Forum, and their Davos meetings, everything is public information. They're saying exactly what they're going to do. And if we don't start taking a stand and saying what we do and do not want and what we will and will not accept, then the future is going to be very dark and we will be led into those agendas. The only thing stopping those agendas from happening is me and you. Literally, me and you. So we got to wake each other up and we got to treat each other how we want to be treated and stand together against these things because free speech, the Constitution, everything is under attack. And we need to take a stand for these things before we lose them, which is the reason why I'm making videos about these things. And I do have to be careful because obviously, if you're seeing entities like the White House and you're seeing the United Nations putting out stuff that's trying to make anything that they don't agree with as being factual and truth as being a conspiracy theory and then designated as an MVE or a DT, it's not going to end up good for people who are trying to spread truthful information. So they have infographics, and a lot of this is for teachers, but it's also for social situations as well, social media, talking to your friends. But what are they and why do they flourish? And conspiracy theories, is this one? Check before sharing. So that goes into their whole hashtag think before sharing because they don't want the spread of conspiracy theories. They want you to fact check information. So you can look at the fact checkers who are fact checking, which are actually, in fact checking lies, but they want you to believe that. So there's a lot of infographics that you can check out, read on your own. The social media packs, 6 things conspiracy theories have in common. How do conspiracy theories damage and mislead? What should I do if you spot a conspiracy theory? So make yourself aware of what is going on because this is what they're trying to educate. When I say they, I'm talking about government agencies in the United States and the United Nations with the UNESCO. That's what I'm going to call it, is UNESCO. Another article talks about addressing conspiracy theorists through education, UNESCO guidance for teachers. Conspiracy theories thrive in troubled times with serious real-world impacts. In the horrific mass murder recently targeting African Americans in the U.S. city of Buffalo, the alleged suspect invoked the false Great Replacement conspiracy theory, which purports there is a plot to replace everyone of European ancestry, driving an international white supremacist narrative founded on racism, anti-Semitism, and anti-Muslim hatred. So and you can go on to read more about this, but they're basically giving guidance for what teachers can do to help eliminate and stop the spread of conspiracy theories, what teachers need to know, the fight against conspiracy theories and racism, the complexity of conspiracy theories, natives, and the psychological mechanisms that underpin belief make challenging them very difficult. Explain why conspiracy theories are so popular and how they cause damage. Help to identify and dismantle conspiracy theories. So a lot of times, if you go and look at some of these people that they deem conspiracy theorists, and you look at their information and you go back and look, let's say they have a YouTube channel. You go back a few months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, on things they were talking about, and you watch current videos, you will in fact see a lot of that, a larger percentage of channels and individuals who are actually saying what's going to happen before it happens because they're such forward thinkers using critical thinking skills. Anybody who uses critical thinking and does research can understand that 1+1 = 2. And ultimately, you can come to a conclusion of what's going on. So a lot of these people in the truth movement that they're calling conspiracy theorists are in fact some of the better people that we have putting out truthful information. They have a conspiracy theory handbook. That's what this report is based on, that the UNESCO has put on to work on media and information literacy, preventing violent extremism. I don't really think that would be a bad word, but preventing violent extremism, addressing anti-Semitism, and addressing hate speech. The Think Before Sharing social media campaign, jointly launched in 2020 with the European Commission in cooperation with Twitter and the World Jewish Congress, to respond to the growing spread of conspiracy theories during the C-19 bananademic. Now, obviously, there's been a more uptick of people spreading truthful information during that time period because a lot of people had a lot of time on their hands, and people who were smart were starting to think for themselves and start thinking outside the box and questioning reality, because if you look around and see what's going on, just things do not match up. So ultimately, I mean, what this really comes down to is saying that people like myself, people like Donut, people like the Global Witness, even some of my crypto friends who put out content and talk about things on a political level, anybody who is pro founding fathers, pro America, pro Constitution can be deemed an MVE and a DT. And that ultimately makes you an enemy of the state. And that's not a good position to be in, because that could actually mean very detrimental things to all the aforementioned individuals. So we need to make our voices heard. You need to make people aware of this information. Again, even though this says that it's leaked and it wasn't, and it's only for internal use only, even if the FBI was to come out and say that this information was not true, I've shown you other information throughout this video that backs up what this is. So I, in fact, believe that this is the case. And it's a very sad thing to even talk about. Again, with all the talk of CERN and alternate realities and the Mandela effect, I have to question reality now. I've said that a lot recently. It just seems like so many things that I thought were one way are no longer that way anymore. And it's a bad thing to care about what this country was founded upon. Now it's a bad thing. Now those individuals, myself included, can be designated MVEs and a DT. So it's insane. I will go through the comments very briefly. I don't have a lot of time. I do have something I need to get into here in just a little bit, but I do, again, appreciate everybody for taking the time to tune in. If you like videos like this, please let me know, and please share with other people. If you're not subscribed, please make sure that you are subscribed. And LaBelle says, I knew it, the UN, what's your kids enslaved or dead? Once, I'm thinking you said. The only difference between conspiracy and truth is 6 months. I like that, Liz, and that makes a lot of sense. Warrior Truth, I appreciate you. We definitely have to start taking stands for things that we believe in. I do feel like this is a fine line of subject that I'm talking about. That's why I'm saying MVE and not DT, because I feel like that's going to be trigger language that's going to end up causing the channel to get strikes and have videos removed. And I've explained that earlier on in this video. So if you missed that, please watch the replay of this video. Jedi Monk says 82% of Americans think the government is corrupt. People are waking up every day. I can't quite say it's 82%, Jedi Monk, but in the Revolutionary War, they said it was only roughly 3% that started the war, that got the fire going, that lit the fire. That's why even in the MVE symbol information and verbiage, 3% people who call themselves 3%ers or part of the 3% would be in that category because of what I just explained. And I would agree, everything definitely. So we got to stand. That's why I'm saying it's more important now, more so than ever, for us to start standing up for things that we believe in. And I will be talking more about that, ways that we can all do that. They want us to police ourselves. Yeah, and that's what social credit score systems are about, and that's possibly coming in the not so near future, like sooner than later, where we will be telling on each other and incentivized for doing so with the social credit score system, which is already happening in other nations. Dime Bar says, I always ask a fact checker before I post. You're doing the right thing, my friend. You're doing the right thing. Maybe the shackles are for the bad guys, not us. I'm not sure what shackles, but things would definitely have to change. How many politicians in the United States do you see standing up against the Federal Reserve for what's going on with the inflation? How many politicians do you see standing up for the loss of free speech, allowing entities like YouTube and Google to not be bound by the First Amendment, saying that they're private corporations? So we need more people standing up. And if that means you running for political office, me running for political office, or something to that effect, then that might be what it means. That might be part of what it takes for you to make a stand, because taking a stand is going to be different for everybody. America is the last bastion of hope of a better life. Well, we better keep it, is all I have to say. Trick says, even once the theory is confirmed truth, they still continue the narrative. They do their best. They do, especially if it goes against the narrative. But a lot of information that people were saying that was deemed untrue, and the fact checkers were saying was wrong in 2020, ended up right. So, that's where critical thinking comes in. That's where really kind of looking at something and analyzing it, and not just believing what you're told, and actually thinking about the situation so that you can actually make a real educated decision on how you want to feel about a particular subject. So it's really important, and we need to use that critical thinking before it's illegal. My opinion again. Tiara, peace, y'all, but for real, we got to take responsibility and work together in order to build abundant futures for all of us. I know we can do it. I like that. Thank you, Tiara. You have a good one. And we are about to wrap up. I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. I want to see here real quick. Yes. Now, AJ, when it comes to AJ, I feel like that was partially orchestrated because of the timing really coincides with this information that's coming out that I'm talking about, this FBI leaked information. Feel like it coincides to kind of lump all this together in one big category. And in my opinion, I feel as if his attorneys flipped against him and were really kind of helping out the other side, unfortunately. Warrior Truth, it couldn't be any more clear that tyrants control all the important positions in the world. Well, look at the World Economic Forum and their young global leaders. And get ready to eat the bugs. Eat the bugs. See what everybody else has to say. Again, I do really appreciate everybody for taking the time to tune in, especially on such short notice. We'll repeat, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribed and hit the notification bell. Please share the video. If you haven't taken the time to smash that like button, it would be greatly appreciated. All right. I'm going to highlight this last comment. AAPI, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Hello to you. Andrew 4880, nothing will get better until we abolish the notion of government from the lexicon of mankind. I couldn't agree with you more, but I don't really feel like we're at a position right now where everybody is ready to self-govern. I would love for that more than anything. Once we can start treating people how we want to be treated, I feel we can get a position to start self-governing. But we definitely need to limit what the government is about. That's what the argument of the Federalists versus the Anti-Federalists and their founding fathers was all about, was against big government. The Federalists wanted strong central government, which is what we have now. And the Anti-Federalists wanted not a strong central government. They wanted the federal government to be limited in its powers and capacities, that the states were to govern themselves. Each state was a nation in and of itself, having its own constitution and government. And then all of those states came together, united, like United Nations, but they called it the Confederate States, the United Confederate, whatever they wanted. It was United Nations. It was a bunch of states united. And our system should be more localized to the point that it's bottom up and not top down. Top down is the federal approach of how we do things, where we need to do things more bottom up. Go back to states' rights, and it's easier to make an impact in your state, in your local area, than it is on the national stage. Again, my opinion. But I do appreciate everybody tuning in. I will be doing a live stream. I believe tomorrow. I'll probably be setting that up sometime in the next few hours. I believe I'm going to be talking. It's going to be a live Rice report. I believe it's going to be about the Infrastructure Reduction Act. Also, CPI data for the United States is going to be coming out to let us know whether or not the inflation data is higher or lower. And I'll let people know what that means for the market. My battery is on my computer is about to die. So before it does, I'm going to throw up my thumbnail and I'm going to wrap up. Again, smash the like button. Make sure you subscribed. And I will leave you with this, as I like to always leave people. Be blessed. Be the change. Practice change. Much love.